Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Let's Talk About. And in this episode, we're talking about SCP-201, otherwise known as the Empty World. I have not read this one. This one kind of just caught my eyes. Before the video starts, I just want to say thank you for all the recent support the channel has been getting. If you haven't already, please leave a like and subscribe, as that helps boost the channel further for more growth. Thank you all so much, and this is probably what you came for. SCP-201's object class is Euclid, meaning it's relatively contained, though it's mostly not understood. It can pose a threat. It's really just a mystery overall. This article has a picture, and it looks like this. And personally, I don't know what I'm supposed to be looking at. I think it's the IV stand. It's just odd. I've never read this article, so I have no idea what's about to happen. Maybe I'll find another one where it can't be contained. If that's the case, I'm going to riot, because I swear to you, I'm not doing it on purpose. Special containment procedures are: no personnel are to come within 40 meters of SCP-201 at any time. Any and all work done with SCP-201 is to be performed via remotely controlled drone. Any personnel entering the containment area must be accompanied by 2 members of security. All personnel in containment area must wear a restraint harness with safety rope attached to the wall. Rope will allow access to within 3 meters of minimum safe area. Exceeding this distance will result in physical removal from containment area and formal discipline. Okay. No one can go within 40 meters. Why? Just why? Is it emitting something that'll kill you? It's called the Empty World, so maybe, I don't know. I have nothing to go off of on that other than it has a minimum safe distance. And my guess is that safe distance is 40 meters. So no one's allowed to go in there. You must be accompanied by security. You must have a safety rope. Does this thing, like, suck you in? Is it like a black hole? That'd be pretty funny. By funny, I mean terrifying. I honestly have nothing to go off of on that. It's an IV stand, so I don't really know what... I don't know. I do not know. There's another paragraph for the special containment procedures, which reads: those affected by SCP-201 are to have time and date of exposure, disappearance, and return, along with any and all personal information recorded in the log that's redacted. Subjects who reappear are to be recovered as soon as possible by agents and debriefed immediately. Okay, that signals to me that this thing is like a portal. Or maybe it is a black hole. People disappear and they can come back, and they must date and, like, record everything that happens. So what is this thing? For that information, we move on to the description. As the picture suggests, SCP-201 appears to be a very old piece of medical equipment, superficially resembling an IV stand, but with many other glass and metal items attached to it. SCP-201 stands at 6 feet tall and has a mass of about 80 pounds. The metal portions are made of steel and brass, and various parts are connected with rubber tubing. The 2 IV bags are porcelain and are open at the top. SCP-201 was recovered in Redacted Hospital in a long unused storage area. No record of SCP-201 appears anywhere in the hospital records. So it's an IV stand. This IV stand does something, which I bet is what the next paragraph is going to say, but it's a very old piece of equipment. It doesn't say how old. About 6 feet tall, 80 pounds. I have no reference to go off of if that is standard or not, but there's a lot of other metal and glass stuff attached to it, so it's not just an IV stand. There's other stuff. For if that is useful to its IV stand purpose, that I don't know, but I think it has something to do with what this thing causes, because it has to do something for people to disappear. People just don't vanish unless you're in the SCP Foundation, and people vanish all the time, and it's completely normal. But I have no reference to go off of what this thing does. I've never heard of this SCP. I picked it at complete random. I pressed a random SCP button, and this is what it gave me. I am not joking. I just kind of find the random stuff better because I like learning what the SCPs are, because I don't know them all, but I like to know what they are. And I also like to inform you guys. If you guys don't know what it is, that's why you watch the video. You didn't learn what it is. That's the point of the whole show. It's informational, and also discussion based, and also my genuine reaction, because that's what I strive for. My genuine reaction. Now, As for what this thing does, entering within 30 meters of SCP-201 can result in the subject being displaced into an alternate reality. This effect is apparently random, with some subjects remaining totally unaffected after exposure to SCP-201. Those affected will cease to exist in our reality between 1 and 48 hours after initial exposure. Durations of displacement vary between a few hours and upwards of 8 years. Time spent in this alternate reality can vary greatly from actual time elapsed in our reality. Okay, so this thing is an alternate reality. From what I am getting from that paragraph, this thing, if you walk within 30 meters of it, it has a seemingly random chance to affect you. If you're not affected, whoop-de-doo. If you do become affected, you basically will cease to exist. It happens between 1 and 48 hours. So after you enter the area, between 1 hour and 48 hours, you will just vanish from reality. You will cease to exist. But you can come back. It sends you back between either a few hours or 8 years. So I'm wondering about the 8 years is what a maximum they have recorded. But it just makes you disappear. Oh my god, that's terrifying. Imagine that you walk by an IV stand and suddenly you're in a different reality an hour later and no one remembers who you are. You cease to exist. That's depressing. How many people have accidentally ceased to exist? There's a bullet list of what appears to be a record of this alternate world, which I'm very curious about because it's an alternate reality. So what could it be? This bullet list has some points, I guess. It really is just short, which leads we don't have a lot of information, but what they can gather is right here. Unless they're hiding stuff, which the O5 is prone to do because they like to expunge a lot of stuff. Don't know why, they're just sick. This alternate world, it appears, I guess, identical to our own, as the article states, but there are a few exceptions. That's what the bullet list is. So, it is apparently in a state of constant twilight. There is no sun or moon visible at any time. Large banks of very dense gray fog travel very low to the ground. These fog banks are unaffected by wind and can take anywhere from a very large mess to a very little, and they make exposed skin feel very sticky and dirty. There is no plant or animal life anywhere. All places of human habitation, including major cities, appear as if all life suddenly vanished in the same instant. Most, if not all, electrical systems appear to be broken or without power. And lastly, the air will randomly take on a gray-brown tint accompanied by a strong wind. So let's just run through those one by one. It's in constant twilight, meaning, like, the sun just set and the moon isn't out, so it's just kind of bright, but there's no sun or moon. Okay. I don't see really anything wrong with that. Twilight's a pretty time, but if it's constant twilight, that would mess with the circadian rhythm. That would mess with a lot more than just the circadian rhythm. That would mess with a lot. This gray fog on the ground. What is it? Do you have like a sample thing? Like, did you take it? I feel like you should if you're doctors and researching this, but it's fine. But it's not affected by the wind. And it makes skin feel very sticky and dirty. I don't like that feeling. That's like a humid feeling, and I don't like that. I don't like it in real life. I would definitely not like it constant. No plants or animal life. All places of human habitation are just without life, as if they all vanished. So when it comes to that, my original thought is, and my immediate thought was, when I was reading that, it's an alternate reality, but it's like to you a mirror world. You can't see the other people and they can't see you. They all vanish from existence as you vanish from existence. So if other people go in with you, they don't exist in the real world, but to you they exist. To you, you see them. It's like a pocket dimension where you vanish, but you also exist in that world, and no one else does in that world. It's like a separation thing. Everyone is in one, you go to the other, no one is in that other, and you're no longer in that one. That's what my immediate thought is. It's like a mirror world without people, but you exist there, as you don't exist in the real world. It's a mirror world. There's no plants, no animals, and I'm curious what that world holds. Because it can hold many things. Because it may not be a mirror world, but whatever it is just interesting. There is another paragraph, and there's one more after that, and that's the end of the article. Not really a long one, but an interesting one. I am loving this. Subjects displaced to this alternate world report initial surprise and curiosity, which are shortly replaced with very strong feelings of loneliness and fear. The severity varies widely with individual subjects and with time of displacement. Upon the end of displacement, subject will reintegrate from this alternate world to our own, which can cause a great deal of shock, especially in urban settings. Most subjects who remain displaced for more than 3 months suffer lasting psychological damage consistent with being sequestered with solitary confinement. It is. It just makes you lonely because no one else is there. It's trying. Imagine that. Like, that's just human nature. The brain craves interaction. If you're alone, that would drive you insane. Especially for 3 months. You could be there for 8 years. That drives people insane. You can't just be alone for that long. You need another voice. You need someone else. Something else. That's why whenever you're feeling lonely, you anthropomorphize objects, like in the movie with the volleyball, the handprint. Wilson, that's that. He was so lonely on the island, he made a volleyball into a friend. But that psychological damage is consistent after 3 months. Hell, even before that, because that's what the human mind goes through. You need interaction, and this takes it away from you. That can ruin a person. The last paragraph of this article reads as follows. In addition, reports of intermittent fragmentary broadcasts have been returned by subjects attempting to repair power to media devices, such as televisions and radios. It is unclear if these are real or the product of the degraded mental states of those remaining long enough to complete said projects. But reports consistently resemble automated messages prepared by the Foundation in contingency for XK class scenarios. Testing will commence if viable samples can be recovered. And that's the whole article, by the way. But that sentence, automated messages prepared by the Foundation in contingency for XK class scenarios. XK class means end of the world. That poses a question to me. If you become displaced, as the article says, displacement is when you go to the alternate reality. If you become displaced, if you were to displace with another person, are they also in that world, or is it like you have your own pocket reality? Because that signals to me that it's a pocket reality, and if another person displaces around the same time as you, they won't be there. They'll be alone. But people trying to repair the electronics have been trying to send messages to the real world, and it's worked, but they're kind of automated messages, and they kind of hint at an XK class scenario, which that means end of the world. And what I would imagine that would mean is that it's safe area. You know, you go within 30 meters and you become displaced. What if that area were to expand? It's a circle around it, so if it were to expand far enough, whole cities could be displaced, rather. Oh, the whole world could be displaced in its own pocket reality. Humanity would break. Some people would come back after a few hours, others not for 8 years, maybe longer. We don't know the max time. That loneliness would break a man. But the fact that this is just an IV stand kind of emitting this portal, not even a portal, this field that affects you, it slowly, like, surrounds you until you vanish from society, vanish from the world, existence. It's as if you didn't exist, and then you just come back. How would that make anyone feel other than insane? This IV stand does a lot of things. One thing it does is it makes people go away, and that is terrifying, because it can make anyone disappear. And that person won't even know well, they'll know because it's an SCP and it's in its safe area. But like, if you go there, you don't know when you'll disappear. You just know that you will. And with that being said, I'm going to leave this video here. Thank you all so much for watching. If you liked it, please leave a like and subscribe, as that helps boost the channel. And I will see you all in the next video. Thank you all so much. and bye.